But street entertainment is only if you're getting paid for it. Surely you can't have to have a license to sing on the street if you're not getting paid for it.
Well, I don't know. The actual word in it could be on payment or otherwise. I don't
What
know.
do you mean or otherwise?
Then
we're living. We might as well be living.
We
We might as well. Yeah, but are you serious that you personally, you would arrest someone for singing or for telling a joke? A joke in public? Oh, I'm not allowed to tell a joke in public because people might get entertained.
Well, it depends. If you're doing it to a large crowd, causing or obstruction, a highway obstruction.
Well, we're not talking about. There was no highway obstruction, right? What I'm saying is that I am disturbed. I am disturbed, and I'd like to know what I can do about this, Sergeant. I'm quite disturbed actually by your response. Yeah, and I think I'm recording this, and I think that when I put this up on the web, if you're okay with that, when I put this up on the web, I think people are going to be really disturbed by what you're saying, because what you're basically saying is, on behalf of the police, that that there is a possibility that you would arrest someone for singing or for telling a joke on the streets of Westminster.
Right. I know you're recording this.
Yeah.
And if you play it back, you'll find that I never said that.
Oh, okay.
I said I'm not au fait with all of Westminster bylaws.
I know, but you're implying that if there was a bylaw, right, that stopped you telling a joke in Westminster, you would police it.
No, I never said that.
Did you not?
No.
Okay.
If there is a bylaw,
yeah,
and then you're breaking it, then it is possible to get arrested for breaking a bylaw.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying anyone would do it. I'm saying it's possible.
Right.
Same as
okay.
I don't know the full facts. I've heard your side of it. I don't know the officer's side of it.
Right.
And I don't know the people who was there, as in the complainant side of it. I don't know how many people were there, if there's any obstructions, and you can't even remember exactly what you were saying. So someone could be.
Well, of course I can't remember, because
okay?
I was speaking there for half.
You've had information from yourself.
Yeah.
So I can't exactly make a decision on that.
Right.
So I'm talking to you. I want to know what you want to do with it.
Right.
You want to put a complaint in against the officer?
Well, I'd like to find out. I'd like to find out whether there's anything on any record anywhere. Because if the officer just did that off the top of his head, then you know what? I'll take a risk, and next time I do this all over the place, so I'm happy to take a risk. Next time he sees me, I'll have a little chat with him and question him on what he's doing.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so, because unless he's given you a form, a long sort of thin form, which is a public order form.
Yeah.
If he hasn't arrested you, if he hasn't given you a public order form, which is basically a fine for public order offence, like Section 5.
Yes.
If he hasn't done that, then no, there would be no record of it. He probably would have done
even though he's got
himself.
Oh, I see. So even though there's no, even though he's radioed in my name, nothing will be put down on the record if he hasn't done anything official.
No.
Right. Okay. I wanted to ask you one other question. The other thing I think he did, which seemed to me to be unlawful, I might be wrong about this, is he seemed to be giving my details to the Westminster Council guy. Is that lawful?
Well, if there is a bylaw for street entertaining, then he's quite within his rights to give him your details as another sort of government official, as a Westminster warden.
He's what? The police can give a Westminster, which is basically a corporation, a Westminster guy, my details? Aren't my details private?
They are private, and they wouldn't be given to anybody.
So why could they be given to a Westminster Council bod on the street? Surely Surely if I give you my details, they're private between me, unless the High Court judge asks for them, or I don't know what. But surely not just a guy that works for Westminster Council, which is a profit-making company.
Do you know he's giving you the details?
Well, I don't, but it looked like it to me. They were standing there with a big pad of paper writing it all out together.
Did the Westminster warden give you a notice or anything not to?
No, but he read me out a whole load. He read me out a whole load of legislation, of which and I had the counter legislation on my iPhone, because there's a piece of legislation which clearly implies that you can use a megaphone anywhere in Westminster. But he wasn't in the slightest bit interested in seeing anything I had to say or listening to it, and neither was the police officer.
Okay, so how do you want to progress this matter.
Okay, so what you're saying is, I mean, I tell you what my problem is. My problem is that on the one hand, my purpose. I hope you don't. Firstly, I really appreciate you, taking the call and being respectful. And I know it's probably taken about more time than you expected. So I really appreciate that. I guess what my question for you is that I'm not into the business of complaining about people and getting them in trouble, and that's not what I want, right?
Okay.
On the other hand, I need to protect myself from this kind of behaviour, and I know that police officers, from my experience with police officers, they're not used to somebody who actually knows a little bit about the law, and sometimes they find that a bit objectionable, and I can understand that. But I guess what I'm asking you is, I don't want to put a complaint against him, but I want to know if there's any way I can protect myself in the future against this sort of threat to actually arrest me for entertaining people, which is completely subjective.
Well, the only problem with that is the police officers who turn up will be treating each sort of incident on its merits. So it depends what the complaint is, what the local bylaws are, if they think you've actually committed any offences.
Right.
I can't say, oh no, it won't happen again, because it's their perception at the time and the allegations that are being put to them by shop owners or other members of the public.
Mm. Yeah, it's funny that the problem is that it's shop owners, isn't it? Because the shop owners are worried that their business is going to be affected by someone entertaining people on the street. And then you get into a whole discussion, which I'm not going to get into with you now, about the police and part of their role of protecting businesses. But anyway, I appreciate your time. What I'm going to have to do about it, if it's okay with you, is just to have a little mull over what I want to do, because I don't want to get into a conflict with any specific officer. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm quite well known on the streets by some people. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do, but obviously you're quite within your rights to make a complaint against the officer if you so wish. But if you want further time to think about it, you can do that and then call back.
I mean, is there any way I can find out? Is there any way you can find out who the officer was? Because as I said, I've forgotten his. He was a black guy. His first name was Peter, and it was in Mayfair at about 4:00. And my name was radioed in at that time.
Well, there will be, if they've been attended that location, there would be a record of the complaint that was made for the officers to attend.
Yes.
And their details or their call sign would be on that.
Right. So can you find that out for me and I call you back or something? I don't know how it works.
Well, no. What would you be doing with that information?
Well, at least I'd know who it was and then decide what do I want to do about it. If I can't find out that information, then there's no point because I don't even know the name of the guy.
Well, no, because if you made a complaint, then that would be looked into and he would be found.
And he would be
what?
what?
I mean? But you were there. I mean, he obviously gave you his name. He had his obviously.
Oh yeah, he had his sleeve, but I didn't take it. He did, but I thought I'd recorded everything on tape, but in the end I hadn't.
Okay, but I'll say he can be traced if you're going to make a complaint.
All right. Okay. Fine. Okay. So I'll have to think about what I want to do. But I really appreciate your time and and your patience with me. And have a good evening.
Could I just pass you back to the operator just to get a couple of details?
I know. I need to go now. I'm really sorry. I need to go now.